Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve. And one of the things that I just love to talk about that excites me more than anything else is the parallel economy built on faith, family, and freedom. And that's happening all around us, and for good reason. I mean, we got the Fed planning digital currencies that will inevitably function as a social credit system. We've got inflation, we got recession. In fact, I was just reading Western Europe, particularly Germany, is already officially in a recession. And the fear is, of course, that that's going to make its way across the pond if we don't get rid of bumbling Biden sooner rather than later. But for you courageous patriots out there, you know that this means that tapping into a growing, thriving parallel economy is more important than ever. And that's why I wanted to bring back one of my favorite guests, Ross Givens, whose passion is to teach patriots how to financially thrive during times like these by learning how to become an insider trader and beat the market in a way insider traders in Congress do it. That's right. Ross is actively helping patriots financially flourish by actively building the parallel economy. And to make it even better, Ross and I have a free training session coming up on Thursday, June 29th. We're going to go even deeper than we can on YouTube right now on how you can financially flourish, even in the worst of economic times. So be sure to click on that link below to sign up. It's going to be amazing. Ross, my friend, always great to have you back. Great to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you too, Dr. Steve.
Yeah, it's awesome chat with you, man. So you were on the show a month back or so. We had an amazing free training. Thousands of Turley talkers and courageous patriots joined up and learned all about the ins and outs of insider trading.
Yeah.
And you share with our viewers the huge advantage that DC insiders like Pelosi have and how they use non-public private information to win big in the stock market. But we were talking before we went on air that today you're actually going to tell us about a specific stock that specific congressional cronies are basically pumping up. Is that right?
That's exactly right, Dr. Steve. And last time I was on and you told me, hey, let me know when you spot another big opportunity. And we have. And so I wanted to bring it to you first. My members don't even know about this one yet.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. Well, that's awesome. Now, before we dive into the details there, can you bring everyone up to speed who maybe didn't hear you before they weren't at the last free training? How many? Can't even remember how many we had, 2,000, 3,000 showing up for that. More than, something. Just give us the broad strokes of what these politicians are doing and why it's so important for patriots out there.
Sure. Well, to be blunt, it is insider trading, but not in the SEC sense. I mean, big shocker here. The people who make the rules made it so they can legally break the rules. That's Congress for you. They are buying stocks based on inside information the general public does not have access to. And we've gone over some examples in the past, like I told you about how several senators sold all their stock after being briefed on COVID right before the market crashed, or congressmen buying defense stocks right when Russia began invading Ukraine. And then, of course, our favorite, crooked Pelosi. She's been doing this for years. This woman's made $100 million from questionable trades while serving as the Speaker of the House. But it is corruption, plain and simple.
Yeah. So, but you've found a way that average people can actually profit off this perfectly ethically, perfectly legally. So is there more to is it more than just following the money? I don't want to oversimplify things here. Can you just kind of walk us through a little bit of how we could actually begin participating in something comparable to this, but ethically?
In general, you're exactly right. We're following the money. What I'm doing is we look for stocks being bought up by folks with inside information. So like politicians, like company executives, they just know more than us, and they use that knowledge to become very rich. And look, I don't like it any more than you do, but it is what it is. I mean, there's no sense sitting here whining about it being some kind of Wall Street version of Greta Thunberg, right? People in positions of power have always been corrupt. They will always be corrupt. So I just choose to use that information to make money instead.
Right. Right. All right. So you mentioned you had a specific stock here
Yeah.
that you want to let the audience know about. Let's get down to it. What is it? What's going on
All
there?
right. So the stock is NGL Energy Partners. Okay. Now the ticker symbol is NGL, Nancy, George, Linda. Now, NGL is a small midstream energy company. They're based out of Tulsa. They operate oil and gas pipelines. All right. And the stock trades for just $4 a share. So it is right now a very small company. To put that in perspective, there's about 28 oil and gas stocks that are publicly traded. NGL is smaller than all but 4 of them. So it's a little guy, right? Which is actually good as an investor. It means it's got a lot of room to grow. But what caught my attention about this stock is, of course, a few trades by a certain member of Congress. And that gentleman's name is Mark Green. Mr. Green is a Republican member of the House out of Tennessee. He's also on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And you know what that is, Dr. Steve, but I want to, the reason I mention that, why it's important, the Foreign Affairs Committee, they oversee military deployments, foreign assistance, and international economic policy. Though these are the people dealing with things like OPEC cutting oil production, sanctions banning natural gas through Russian pipelines, things like that. So I don't think it's a stretch to say this guy might have some valuable insights about oil and gas stocks. Now, Mark Green has been buying a lot of NGL stock lately. He put around 100 grand in the stock in March, another 100,000 mid-May, and he just bought another $250,000 worth of NGL stock last week, according to congressional trading records. And I mean, those are some pretty big bets on a little $4 stock most people have never heard of.
Right. Right. Wow. So you're tapping in, you're just observing how they're investing and then following suit. You do that as well with the insiders inside corporations as well.
Correct.
Like, right. But give us the gist of how you exploit that SEC database.
Well, it's the same idea. I mean, whether it's DC politicians or we're talking about corporate insiders, they all have access to, they're all in the know investors. They're all people who know something the rest of us don't. Congress knows about COVID before we do, and shutdowns and major deals. And Pelosi knows to buy Tesla before the government takes their whole fleet electric and things like that.
Right.
But the number one thing you want to look for in one side or the other when picking stocks is insider buying. So politicians is one group, corporate insiders the other. So, for example, if we've got the CEO or the CFO or the chairman of the board buying, that's a big tip-off that something good could be on the horizon. And we give more focus to those where they're buying a lot of stock or they're buying, for the first time in several years, things like that. And that's actually happening at NGL too. This is kind of firing on all cylinders because not only is this congressman buying like crazy, who's well plugged in, who's on the Foreign Affairs Committee, who knows everything about oil and gas. Also, NGL's chief financial officer just bought 50,000 shares of this stock. He's been the CFO for 2 years. He's never bought once before. Now he's buying in huge. And you got to remember, this is the guy who literally fills out the earnings report. Okay. Yeah. So the thought of him buying 50,000 shares of stock with his own money in his own account before they report terrible numbers is like almost unfathomable. So we've got this DC politician, Foreign Affairs Committee, buying up this $4 off the radar energy stock hand over fist, month over month. At the same time, the company's CFO, who knows the numbers better than anyone else on the planet, is buying for the first time ever. So all this put together really tells that story. And to me, kind of seems like they might know something, wouldn't you say?
Right. So that's the basic gist of it. If people want to do this themselves, right? What are the kind of things they should be looking for? I mean, you guys are holding stocks that are up as much as 1,300% using this approach. It's pretty impressive stuff. So give us some tips, like what makes a stock stand out as one that could be a great investment.
Yeah, so when you're tracking insiders, so DC Insiders is great. The problem with them is they only have to report their trades every 30 or 60 days. And most of the time, those crooks don't even do that. So it's hard to track. When you're talking about corporate insiders, CEOs, CFOs, board members, they have to report within 48 hours. And we can see those immediately. So we can see through this database, which is free for anyone to access, essentially in real time when they're loading up. And I've been doing this for a long time, so it just kind of makes sense to me. But really, it's common sense type stuff. I mean, you want to see as many insiders buying as possible. The CEO's buying, well, that's good. Also the CFO, also the chairman of the board, also 2 vice presidents, also 3 board members. I mean, come on, it's something good. Right. We also look for things like first-time buyers. So you'll have some executives who just buy every quarter or every year, routine, adding to their 401k account. But then you'll have someone who's been on the board for 3 or 4 years or been a CFO for 2 years like this guy, never bought a single share of stock, doesn't own any, and then suddenly he comes out of nowhere for several $100,000 or $7 million. You know, it's not 100% guaranteed, but this is how they're kind of tipping their hat to you. And just so we're following basically insiders' greed and using that for our own advantage. They're basically just feeding us inside tips. And that's how we've gotten a hold of all these big winners and the stocks that have gone up, like you said, over 1,300%.
Now, and then you mentioned that even your members didn't get this stock tip yet. So you do send out, do you send out texts to give people these kind of insights into what's going on a regular basis? I mean, you eat, sleep, and drink this stuff. So
we do. When we find big opportunities like this, that's when I'll probably be going out in the next few minutes. We do send those out. I mean, we text them out in real time so they can get it very quickly. We also, I've got full-time analysts working for me. All these are very heavily researched. You can probably tell. So it's generally a 2 or 3 page write-up giving you what insiders are buying, what's going on with the stock, what the big catalyst could be. We give an option trade if they want that. So, we believe firmly that people should know what they're investing in, what they own, and why they own it, not just, oh, this guy said to buy it. You need to have a firm understanding to have some basis to hold that position and hopefully reach full profit.
Can you give people, so we've got the link down below to sign up for the free training. Mm-hmm. Can you give us a little bit of a teaser on what to expect for a free training with you? Because I mean, when we did it the last time, like I said, I mean, we basically we broke the software that you have for the webinar. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, we had to lock out somebody like 1,000 people as a result of it. But so give us a sense of a Ross Givens free training, that just a little taste.
Well, listen, I try to compile or jam as much as I can from 15 years of doing this into an hour. But essentially, we're going to show you all the secrets. We're going to show you the SEC loophole that allows this, exactly how it works. We'll show you exactly where the SEC database is. You can see all these trades in real time. I tell people what to look for, favorite signals. So like cluster buys, like first-time purchases. When they're buying a stock, trading at its highs, it's generally more significant than buying at its lows, things like that. We show our risk management techniques, how to use options to make even more money. So, we've had stocks to go up 50, 100%, while the stock option goes up 400, 500% if you'd rather do that. And so we just kind of lay out a framework for how to do this, what to look for, and try to take, my analyst years of experience, pack it into an hour, show people how to do this. And if a lot of people, like you said, we had so many people last time that bought into this so hard, like this for most people, it just makes sense very quickly. Right. Insiders to have more information. The guy who fills out the earnings report is buying the stock before the earnings goes public. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. Right. And so we teach them how to do that. But a lot of folks say, listen, I've got a busy life. I've got a job or a family, or I just don't want to do what you do. So that's why we run a service here called the Insider Effect. We do this for our members. We alert them in real time when we see these opportunities, when we're buying, when we're selling. We manage the portfolio and do everything for them we can except click the buy and sell buttons.
Right. Yeah, it's so amazing, gang. I'm so excited for Ross to be back here because I was getting calls and messages about how pleased people were with Ross's free training. And this one that we're going to have on June 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm even more excited because I'm sure there's even more of you who are going to click on that link below and join us. This is such an amazing opportunity to help build that parallel economy and financially flourish in the midst of all this insanity and craziness. Why not follow what these guys are doing, what they're buying and what they're selling, and model it for your own portfolio? But be sure to click on the link in the description below to get your spot in, but you got to do it now, okay? Seating is limited. There are only so many spots the webinar software allows us to to have. So don't wait. That happened the last time. A bunch of people got shut out who wanted to get in. So don't wait. Click on the link below right now. Sign up and prepare to change your life on Thursday, June 29th at 3 p.m. Ross, man, thanks so much for being with us again. It's always
absolutely
a pleasure to have you.
Glad to be here. And by the way, just to let everyone know, when they register, there's 2 other stocks that are equally as appealing as this one we're about to put out to members as well. We're going to send those for free to everyone who registers. So just put your number in. We'll text it to you. The last one we did, as you know, ran something like 20 or 30% in the next couple of weeks. And even in 2022, we actually made money in a bear market by following these kind of stocks. So we're helping a lot of people, want to help a lot more. And so I really look forward to our next training session. Dr. Steve, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you again for having me on.
Can't wait to see you. Hopefully my audio will work, or my visual will work this time.
Yeah,
so.
we'll get you working.
God bless. Thanks, Ross.
Thanks, Dr. Steve.